Welcome to this special Veterans Day edition of 2 Minute Tuesday. We're going to take some time to interview some students that are planning to enlist into the military. We're going to interview some veterans, and we're going to remember some veterans. So hold on and let's take a look.
Here we are with Martina Coughlin. Martina, how long were you in the service?
Well, I enlisted in April of 1982 and I retired in June of 2010, so 28 years.
And what branch of service did you serve?
I started in the Air National Guard and then transferred over to the Air Force Reserves.
Did you join the service right out of high school?
I sure did. I was 17 years old when I enlisted, and I went to basic training in June right out of high school.
What inspired you to want to serve our nation?
Oh, I have a history of family members that have all joined. I've got uncles and I had cousins. My brother was in the Army, and I just felt that that was the right road for me to take.
Can you tell us who your loved one is that is or was serving in the military?
My dad is serving in the military.
So my grandfather served, my dad served, my brother served, and my sister is currently serving.
I have a lot of family members that have served the military, but my direct family, my sister, mom, and dad have served, or are serving.
And which branch did they serve in?
Well, my sister is still serving. She's in the Air Force. And then my mom was in the Army. And then my dad was in the Army, had a brief break, and then served in the National Guard for a little while.
So my grandfather, my dad, and my brother all served in the Marines. My grandfather and then my sister is currently serving in the Navy.
He is in the Air Force.
And can you tell me what inspired your father to serve in the military?
On 9/11, my mom was pregnant with me, and he saw what was all happening, and that inspired him to enlist in the Air Force.
I would say for my dad, he wanted to serve his country. He was just very passionate about that. And then for my brother and my sister, it was definitely part of our family history, just because of my grandfather serving and my dad serving, and my brother enlisted shortly after 9/11. So I think all of those things were reason as to what inspired them to serve.
Okay.
I think family history more than anything. Both my grandparents or grandpas were in the service, so I think that was the biggest inspiration, is just family heritage more than anything.
And lastly, can you tell me what makes you proud of their service?
I'm just super thankful for their willingness to sacrifice their time, for their willingness to sacrifice family time, as well as, thankfully, none of them have had to sacrifice their life, but just their willingness to do so means a lot to me, and it just makes me very proud.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
There's a lot of things. The biggest thing is just the sacrifice that it takes. Not only the sacrifice of being, away from family members or family for a long stint, but just the daily sacrifices that they have to take out of, a normal routine for somebody. It's not really something that's a 9 to 5. It's a huge lifestyle change. So for them to put everything on hold to dedicate literally their life to the service and to serve others is huge. So.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thanks.
It really makes me proud when I see him in public in his uniform, and to know that he's my dad and he's making a very good difference.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi there. I want to do a shout out to my son Mitchell McElhaney, who recently went to the Air Force. He just finished 8.5 weeks of military training down at Lackland Air Force Base in Texas. Mitchell graduated from Huntington North in 2018, just this last spring. And then to see him a few months later graduate from basic training, neat experience. I was asking him later, how did you feel? What were you thinking? And he said, Mom, after you're called a trainee for 8.5 weeks and they're hard on you and they push you, to have someone come up and say, congratulations, Airman, good job. He said it's one of my proudest moments ever. And he said to have family there to experience, he said there's no other feeling like it. I asked him the other day, are you glad you took this course? What are you thinking? Are you still thinking long term, or do your 6 years and be done? And he paused for a moment and he said, I think I want to do 20 years in the military. I think I want to do that, and then I want to get a job at an airport and work another 20 years, because Mom, I can graduate and have 2 pensions and full medical benefits. And along the way, I'm traveling to all different places. I'm meeting incredible people and making a lot of new friends. And I think it's just going to be an awesome plan for life.
What branch of service are you interested in joining?
Currently, I'm actually looking into joining the United States Air Force.
I am currently in the process of enlisting into the Indiana National Guard, which is the Army.
What inspired you to serve for our nation?
Really, the biggest thing that inspired me were my grandparents. Both of them served in the United States Army back in Vietnam. And then I'd say the other thing that inspired me was probably my father.
A couple of my family members have been in the military, and I just want a way to give back to my community.
And as we conclude this edition of 2 Minute Tuesday, we want to give special thanks to all of the veterans that have given so much for us and serving us and their families in their time of military service. So now, I want all of you to go have a great American and Viking Day.